Okay, so I'm sure you are pretty well about this Bloom taxonomy. So basically, this is just to measure at what level that you will be testing or measure. Okay, so for this course, so it's good to know what the objective of this course actually. So for the first CLO or course learning outcome, so students should be able to illustrate the emergence of internet, okay, how internet and various technologies and its impacts, particularly of those social, legal, ethical, and anti-professionalism issues raised in computing. So you should be able to understand what are the emerging technologies, or in particular the internet, have the sort of impacts to our environment. So we are going to focus on social, or the interactions of social, and then we also need to look into the legal perspective, okay, and then also in terms of the ethical and IT professionalism, in terms of the professional, how you deal with all these things, and how you can address any issue pertaining to that when we talk about computing or IT and stuff like that. So for this particular CNO, okay, so please pay attention, please. Anybody would like to give lecture can come down. So I go back and listen to you. Okay, please respect to your friends because I understand that you're hot. I'm also hot. So please come down. Just respect the others' life. It's stuffy here, so the other want to listen. So if you have any, so you can share. Okay, you can talk. Of course, you can talk to me like this. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, so so this is an you guys is here final year, is it? Third year. So usually for third years, 4 years, we are going towards analyze, evaluate, and create. So when we talk about analyze, you should be able to criticize, to compare, to distinguish, and then you give your what we call that reason and why, how to fix things and so on for issues. So basically, you can see that for this, we are going to measure in terms of whether you can analyze all the issues Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, so when we talk about social and professional module, so basically it focuses on developing essential skills and competencies that are crucial for success in both personal and work environment. It's not about just work, but also how you can improve your personality and how you connect yourself with the other colleagues or in the work environment. So that is what we are talking about SPI, social and professional module. So the aim is basically to improve individuals' ability to navigate social interaction effectively. So it's connection, how you deal with your colleagues, subordinates, superiors. So how you deal with them effectively. Build meaningful relationships. So of course, when we talking about at work environments, we need to be able to build the trust and relationship in order to ensure that whatever task that we have or any issue that we face can be shared, connected, discussed, and more importantly to be solved or addressed. Okay, and develop professional mindset. So professional mindset, do you know what professional mindset? What is professional mindset? So sometimes you heard people do it professionally, deal it professionally. What does it mean? Any idea? Do it professionally. Okay. So there are many perspectives. So when we talk about, of course, there are many opinions. But to me, when we do it professionally or be professional means that we stick to what we have to complete or what we have to solve or what we have to do. Okay, what job that we have to solve. and how to solve it, or how to fix it, how to connect it. Okay, rather than you are focusing on individual behaviors, or you're focusing on the bias toward your maybe intentions to other people because you hate them or dislike them, so you attack their personal beings, you know, the behaviors or their characteristics, something like that. Rather than you focus on what went wrong with the job, what should be done, how to be done, and then maybe in terms of how you address it also, you need to build the rapport. You can how you talk to your superior and how you talk to your subordinate if there's any issue. So these are the skills that not necessarily can be learned quickly, but you go through your experience how to deal with such people and how to deal with the work and how to be to justify or rationalize what you do and how we can move on. Okay, so it covers a wide range of topics such as communication skills. So this is some things that you want to open the door. You want to open the door. Can open the door. Maybe is it okay? You want to open? Is it stuff? I'm afraid that you are hot. Okay. Okay, communication skills. So this is very important skill because without communication, you won't be able to deliver your ideas. You can't deliver your, explain about your problems. So ideas, problem, issues. So having communication skills is very paramount, it's vital. And as you know that in communication skills, it's not just verbally, okay, but also indirect communication that you have to understand, you know, the behaviors and stuff like that, the response, the physical action. Okay, teamwork. Teamwork is very important. That how you delegate job, how you divide the job and so on to respective members. Who should do a particular task and who should focus on certain things. So that is something that we need to understand and well to deliver it. And then emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. What do you know about emotional intelligence? You know, emotional intelligence. Okay, so emotional intelligence, because you should be able to, for example, read people's mind or their feelings, what they are going through. So when it's right to talk, when it's right to explain, when it's right to where it's right to sometimes happen to your colleagues or your subordinate. Where is the right time to pinpoint the mistakes? So these are some things that also involve emotional intelligence, and you know how this can actually affect the effective communications. Cultural competence, ethical decision making, and professional ethics. So you want to know whether your decision that you make is ethical or not. And of course, this is also professional ethics that you also need to understand in this course. Okay, so by engaging in activities and discussions with these modules, so we hope that individuals can gain a deeper understanding of themselves and others. So you need through this actually you can reflect to yourself and also to learn about the others. Enhance their interpersonal skills. Okay, how you deal with people, and negotiate, for example, and how to motivate people, for example, and cultivate a professional demeanor that is essential or vital for achieving personal and career goals. So basically, these are the things that we are kind of focusing, and we hope to achieve within this course. Okay, so concern of cybercrime. So this is something that very critical nowadays, because more servers or organizations rely on digital forms in terms of their resources, their businesses, communications, data and stuff like that. So through this precious data, so for example, so basically the the issue with the cybercrime has been keep increasing over the years. So estimated cost of cybercrime worldwide, as you can see, keep increasing and expected to grow exponentially in the next few years. Okay. And then, as you can see here, various industry. So will be sort of need to affected by this. So as you can see here. Okay, so as you can see, for example, for procurement, which you can see from energies and utilities and resources, so it involves like 40% fraud. Okay, and then if you can see cybercrime in terms of retail and consumer and the asset misappropriations, and also in terms of technology, media and telecommunications, which involve 35% of cybercrime, and customer fraud 35% and 50% cybercrime. So that is something that very alarming. That therefore we have to take it seriously in terms of safeguarding our data, for example, the protections, everything, and also in terms of how we control it in our internally in our organizations. Okay, so studying social and professional issues basically is to prepare individuals to be informed and engaged citizens. So it equips them with knowledge and critical thinking, okay, understanding what can be done, what is lawful and not, and also critical thinking, which is very necessary in order to analyze complex social and professional problems. Okay, social professional problems based on evidence. This is something that I mentioned just now. How to do things professionally. So when we want to, let's say there's an issue, there's a problem. Of course, you need to back it up with evidence. Evidence from the transaction, from the record, the emails. Those sort of evidence actually to justify whether things goes right or the other way around. So we can't just simply say attack people that she or he has made this error, she should be fired, she just useless. But there's no evidence to support such accusation or bias. And then make informed decision. Make informed decision means that whatever decision that you are going to do, talking about at the management level or at the high levels, there should be evidence, there should be a report, there should be a data that you make decision actually based on this discussion on this evidence or discussion on these facts, figures, and so on, rather than just assumptions or something like that. You make decision. No. Right. So basically, this is to empower individuals to contribute to public discourse. Okay, to public discourse, we advocate for social causes and engage in civic participation, which ultimately shaping a more inclusive and equitable society. So when we have a discourse, actually we want to have a discourse that involves from various perspectives. point of view. Okay, so this is also help us in having better or more effective right informed decision. So you involve a lot of people, different background, different paradigm or perspective. So this is something that we need to have sort of social awareness, social track to talk about our views and so on with regard to a particular direction or things or problem that you want to solve. So that should be equality in terms of having balanced views to make the right decision. So theoretically, so if you look at like this four modalities or models analysis. So we look into law, rules, regulations, things right or wrong, the architecture, how when you have a system, you have the infrastructure or application, how you organize it, and so on. Then you have the markets, the trends, the trends now, and then the social norms. Social norm, what is well accepted among socially, among community, or countries, and so on. And then we look at the particular individuals which actually affected by all these parameters or components, all those four components. So this is theory lah. Theory. So Professor Lazik described a means of considering how technologies and human society interact. So just now I've highlighted, there are all these four components or variables, they are all connected, interconnected. Okay, so for the first one, law. Okay, so express and enforce power of the state. So of course the state, countries, they have their own sort of law, which accepted within that region or country or state or so on, what can be rules and not. Social norms. So basically these components or this variable, pressure put on by people we know, okay, the community, the public, what sort of pressure that can put to the country or to the nation or to the what call it, organization within that areas and so on. And then markets. So how you can see the trend of current situations on the market realities and how they influence the behaviors. You know, the trend market, when the people going to buy, look forward to a certain product or a certain brand or something like that. So how this trend actually can affect this social world. And then last but not least, architecture. Okay, so online architecture, typical is computer code. So of course, when I mentioned just now, you build a system, develop a system, there are logic or parameters, sort of for that, even rules that actually based on specific architecture from the organization or standard policy that can be transformed into a system that can execute or run, maybe in terms of determining the student results or how many credits they can take. For example, I'm talking about architecture of academic system or application. Okay, so there's code that we need to develop to execute that task, determining the credit hours, what they can take, what they cannot take. So similarly to other contexts in medical or engineering, same again. There's a rules, things that can be used on in order to generate code to develop that system, to run that for that purpose. So this theory or model is also known as four modes of regulation. Basically, it's like a theoretical framework that has been proposed to understand and analyze the ways in which regulation and control operate in various realms of human activities, particularly in the context of digital age. Okay, so for example, talking about, okay, let's say maybe there's no system, and there's a system that can determine the student how many credits hours that they can take, and there's certain things that they have to pass in order to take another subject. There are certain requirements that they need to go through before they can go for the convocation graduation. So if there's no system for that, maybe flexibly human can bypass. Although you have not fulfilled due to certain what we call that consideration, then you just let the student, he or she, take that course. But if you look at the rules, he or she cannot take this course because she or he has not passed that prerequisite subject or something like that. So when you have a system, when you key in all the system, all the rules will be implemented. So let's say you have not passed the system application scan, that you have not passed that course. So of course automatically it won't allow you to register for that next course or something like that, or won't let you to graduate or register. So when you have a system, basically it will restrict you to do something. But if you don't have the system, so it will become maybe for one or two cases okay, but if too many cases, so it just defeat the purpose. What the purpose of the rule? So in this context, you want to see, although you develop a system, it actually can control this sort of things from happen, but at the same time, maybe there are also angle that can be flexible. So that is something that's not easy to say, but it's very complex actually. So for example, talking about, I think from municipal point of view before, like 10 years ago, when we have a system, but there is some things that sometimes the dean or lecturer asks to, just proceed with this or something like that, or the student asks for this, proceed. But now there are systems which stick with the rules based on the book, guideline books. So the system developed based on the guideline books. So if the student, let's say, has not passed or completed the particular subject, so by hook or by crook, he or she cannot proceed. So these are things that we need to look into, how we apply the rules and how it actually can make us better control and also managing our student or system, whatever that they are looking at. Okay, so when you look at law, I'm not sure whether you have taken any law subject. So the first modality is law. So this refers to traditional forms of regulation enforced through legislation and the legal system. So basically when you have law, so it will set the rules, what the rules and the boundaries that individual and organization might abide and be controlled by these rules. And violation can result in legal consequences. Okay? In the digital realm, laws may cover areas such as intellectual property rights. So IPR, when you have any ideas or algorithm, or you have design, how you protect all this under IPR. Privacy, is of course it's privacy, things that when even you look at the social media or any other application or setting that there's the element of privacy that you can control what to be shared or what not to be shared or something like that, what can be done with profile or not. Cyber security and online harassment. So these are the things that we can actually control or set in order to determine to what extent that people can do or cannot do, and if they do it, which beyond what has been legislated, so there are certain set of consequences that he or she has to bear. So this is something like from the component of law. Okay, the next one, social norms. Okay, social norms. Okay, the second, which are unwritten rules and expectations that govern behavior within a particular community or society. So this is something that what we used to, actually what we used to, what is accepted and what is not accepted. What is good and what is not good. From, when you look at from family point of view, or when you look at the community point of view, your neighborhood. So these are things that there's no such rule. Okay, this is good or not. But when you observe it, you know whether it's accepted or not, because you're used to the sort of culture among your social community or your family or your country even. So social norms emerge from the collective values. Okay, you individual have certain value. Your families, your parents, your class, or your community have a certain set of values that acceptable among, and set of beliefs. Okay, what is right or wrong, what is good or not good, like I mentioned, and practices of group of individuals. So when we look at in the nowadays or in the digital context, social norms can influence behaviors related to online ethics and acceptable norms of conduct within digital communities. So when you look into, maybe you're talking about posting or your words or whatever your conversation, when we have certain conversation or words, something like that, so you yourself can reflect to you and to your community, is it acceptable way of communications, conversation or not? What is considered ethics or not? So this is something that you can reflect and see and judge based on your personal set of values or your community values. And the third component, you have market. So this component refers to the mechanisms of economic exchange and regulation driven by supply and demand. You learn business, you know about supply and demand. When the price goes down and so on, when there's demand, there's high and so on. So when we reflect to the digital landscape, market forces plays a significant role in shaping behaviors and choices. For example, IPR are often enforced through market mechanisms where copyright holder license their works and individual pay for access. So this is some things that when you have certain products or you have certain recipe or you have certain coding everything. So actually you let the others actually to make use of it. Okay, so now you sort of licensing them to run that design or products or use that code to generate their business, and you have some sort of income based on what the license that you have given to them, and then they can access to it as soon as they pay the royalty or something like contribution. And the fourth one, architectures and technology. So this is involves design of physical and digital system and platforms that shapes and control the behaviors. So this is something that I mentioned just now, like if you have a student management system or you have hostel management system to show in terms of students to register and who can stay, who cannot stay. Of course, there are rules that will be implemented in that system. So for that to be run or executed, so you need to look into having all this set of rules and regulations that can be embedded as part of the architecture of the system in order to run that the system application. So when you have this, so basically it will enable or restrict certain actions, influencing how people interact with information, platform, and each other. Let's say, for example, talking about who can stay in the house and who cannot stay. So if you stick to this architecture, so of course you cannot just simply bypass, because everyone is obliged to fulfill or to these rules. And as mentioned, as how it has been architected or implemented in that system should be followed. So digital technologies such as software, algorithm, and networks protocols can have significant impacts on individual behavior and societal norm. So it will restrict. When you have this sort of, as you know, algorithm system, it's just yes or no. If there's no such in between. So if you have not fulfilled the requirement, all the 5 requirements, as say you must fulfill 5 requirements, then the system will stick to them. But for us human beings, maybe just 5, 1 more, okay lah. But this us, maybe we can bypass. But when you have this system, it will restrict what stick to the rules stated in the system. Of course, when we see the rise of smartphone devices or system, of course, it will sort of impact all this, how we enforce the law, how it will affect the markets and behavior, social norm, what is accepted or not, how we architecture to make it flexible and stuff like that. Okay. Sorry, there's still nobody fixing the aircon, I think. I'm sure maybe they are busy to first day. I got message from the staff in charge. They say the technicians are working on it. I don't know the status of the aircon, but they are working on it. Okay. Okay, so if you look at this, so each of these influences interacts with the others and put pressure on the individual. So as you can see, the individual will be human will be strongly affected by all these components. And this component they are all interrelated to each other, not just like isolated. Legal affect or society affect how you want to put the legal legislation. Of course, the society and technology influence each other. The market, everything. So, but at the end of the day, the pressure is on the individual itself. Will be surrounded by all these 4 components. So each is also acted on by society as a whole. So the smartphone is an invention that has emerged in this new millennium. You know when the smartphone first appeared? Smartphone. You know when smartphone first used? No? Don't know. Homework, search. Okay, smartphone is an invention that has emerged in the new millennium. So I believe I'm not sure you have used BlackBerry before. BlackBerry, Nokia, what? 2000 something, 2002, 3. Okay. So explain its impacts using Lawrence Lessig for modalities analysis. So you need to think, okay, how it impacts people, how it impacts society. Okay, how smartphone impacts society? How we, okay, of course you can see from the communication point of view, in terms of the discussion, in terms of what, business, in terms of what else, that smartphone. I mean, when we talk smartphone, not just smartphone, simply smartphone, of course the application. Smartphone is just smartphone, because application is nothing. So with the software, everything, how it impacts the society, how the way we do our daily communication, daily business, transaction through the application in smartphone, how we travel, how we do teaching and learning, how we do, like I just now mentioned, business, booking everything, delivery. Even in the future, maybe you can see more kind of application that will take place, the one that we used to do before. You know, for example, even to have our dinner, you know, we have to go out and then meet somewhere at a bar store or something like that. But now, with this smartphone, you can easily, for example, order online and have a gathering online or something like that. Do the invitation via online, you know, to manage event, everything. Where before we have to have physical meeting and to discuss about it in detail. But with the smartphone, actually, with the application, everything, actually has impacted a lot to the society, the way that you used to do things before, and with the current application, how it can be done. Even let's say if we're talking about maybe to visit a museum or zoo, maybe you have to do physically, but with this smartphone, you can have real-time exploration of the museum, the artifacts through your phone, rather than go to the museum physically. So this is just one example of how actually smartphone has impacted the way that we used to do before and nowadays. Of course, when we talk about this, we cannot run from the globalization. Whatever happens to another countries or developing countries, actually, whether we want or not, it will also affect that how we deal our new what we used to do in our countries in relation to what's happening around the world. So whatever happening around the world actually directly or indirectly can affect the way we deal with our day-to-day business or things like. Okay, so when we look at globalization, so it refers to the increasing interconnectedness and integration of economies, societies, and cultures worldwide. So it means that it's not just in Malaysia. You do your business across Malaysia, Southeast Asia, Asia, or the world, and then you can communicate easily and then interact with the society, not necessarily in Malaysia but also abroad. And then the cultures that you learn, not just basically reside in your country, but actually you also learning about the other culture, and you can adopt that culture and maybe in the context of your local region or in Malaysia context. So it's not a clear like sort of boundaries like before, but now it's like go beyond that. So it is driven by advancements of in technologies, communication, and of course transportation, that you can easily communicate in a split second to other part of the world, and you can go to the other part of the world in a few hours, something like that. So which have facilitated the flow of goods, services, capitals, information, and ideas across borders. So taking for example, you can buy any products from from China or something like from Indonesia easily. So before, maybe whatever that it took some time for you to go there or explore what's available abroad in order for you to buy their services, products. So globalization has led to the expansions of international trade, foreign direct investment (FDI), and the establishment of global supply chains. Okay, and it's also contributed to the exchange of knowledge, culture, diversity, and the intermingling of people from different parts of the world. So, for example, you can easily communicate with other parts of the world and learn about their language. Okay, Korean language, Japanese language, easily by talking daily basis to other friends from that region, for example. While globalization has created opportunities for economic growth, innovation, and cultural exchange, it also brought challenges such as income inequality, environmental concern, and cultural homogenization. So you look at the impact of globalization, it varies across different countries and sectors, with can shape the economy, society, individuals, and often interconnected ways. So these are the things that you can reflect. What are the opportunity or benefits that we can have through this type of globalization, borderless world? So of course, number one, it can increase economic opportunities. So you can sell your product not necessarily in Selangor, in Malaysia, but also you can go beyond to Singapore, Brunei, India, whatever. So access to a wider variety of goods and services. So you can, if you want to buy certain products, so it's not just restricted to what are available in your country, but also you can compare with other similar products from other countries, for example, easily, and then you can even compare the price and make you have access to it, and therefore of course you can make comparison and choose the right or the one that you favor most or more cheap for you, maybe. Job creation and employment opportunities. Okay, so for example, nowadays there are many freelance that you can do on a remotely basis. So this is some things that you can get easily the opportunity to apply for the job as a freelance in UAE, for example, Saudi Arabia, for example. Not necessarily you should be there, but with this, such as border levels of globalization, so you can apply for that job, execute, and get paid easily. Technological advancement and innovation. Of course, when you look at globalization, you not just look at your context, country point of view, but when you can compare various advancement, technology, innovation that has been produced or brought. So when you want to have or come up with a new product, of course you will be some sort of comparing the existing product around the world, or you can also use the existing technology available around the world that to come up with a better innovation that you have in your country, for example. And if then when you have this, actually when you want to export it, your technology to other, it become more acceptable because it has competitive values there. Culture, exchange, and diversity. So this is something that through this communication, exchange, for example, that you can have more to learn about other people, other culture, and you can easily exchange the culture and maybe practice or adopt a culture that some things that best practice that you have learned from other countries, something that can be implemented in our country or different regions. Improve standards of living in some regions. Okay, enhance communication and information sharing, of course, through this globalization and communication technology, so you can easily share information nowadays very quickly, and you can know what's happening around the world and in a split second, and how actually it impacts the movement to other countries and so on. Access to global market and increase export opportunity. You can easily monitor stocks abroad, and you can even join it. Collaboration and cooperation between countries. Okay, as you know that nowadays there's a lot of collaboration and cooperation to take advantage from one country to another country and strengthen it and come up with the sort of ties that can benefit most countries rather than work in silo or just individually. And of course, it can increase foreign investment and economic growth. So when you look from the benefits or advantages, of course, there's another way that things that you need to also look at, which is the bad side or the negative side. So for the globalization, you can see in terms of the economics inequality or disparities. Okay, maybe more richer become richer or something like that, poor become poorer or something like that. Exploitations of laborers, exploitation of laborers or workers, right violation. Okay. Cheap laborers, underage, you know. Environmental degradation and unsustainable practices. Okay, maybe there are certain country that has not practiced certain policy or obliged to a certain policy, therefore they have cheaper production cost, something like that, and you go for that. But then that has some sort of effect of the environmental problem, something like that. So that is not good for that country, because you contribute to such unsustainable practice. Loss of cultural identity and cultural homogenization, dependency on foreign economies and vulnerability to global economic downturns. Okay, social and cultural tensions due to increased migration and cultural clashes. Maybe when you have such as open country or something like that, where you want to invite people to work, but due to fill all the gaps, but if there's such migration is not under control, perhaps it will cause another issue where when people come from other countries in high volume, perhaps they will come with a certain set of culture that totally different from the norm or the people there. So this maybe involves some sort of cultural tension or clashes. So that can cause some sort of social problem to that community or people in that area. Threats to local industry and small businesses. So imagine that giant company from overseas or abroad doing business here. Maybe there are certain like sort of small local industries, small business are doing the same sort of line of product. Perhaps this can affect this local or small businesses to grow due to the very high tight competition with the international company who are well established in that industry. And of course, people will go or opt for the better services offered by these international organization companies. Unequal distribution of benefits and resources among countries. Okay. Financial crisis and instability in global market. And last but not least, loss of national sovereignty and control over the domestic policy. Because imagine that there are so many immigrants, million of immigrants, so that can some sort of indirectly can have pressure at a certain state or district due to this the power that they have or pressure that they have. So when we see to show that actually globalization and its effects on developing countries, Asia for example.
Globalization, the growing integration of economies and societies around the world, has been one of the most hotly debated topics in international economics over the past few years. Rapid growth and poverty reduction in China, India, and other countries that were poor 20 years ago has been a positive aspect of globalization. But globalization has also generated significant international opposition over concerns that it has increased inequality and environmental degradation. But what is the concept of globalization? Globalization is the most talked and debated issue in the contemporary world. It is a concept that escapes precise definition. In most cases, it is described rather than defined. Some commentators have described globalization as a stage of capitalism or late modernity, and some remarks that globalization is a new way of thinking. However, it does not mean the same thing for all. For some, globalization is a process of opening up economies so that trade between countries can take place freely. For them, increasing globalization has helped the expansion of opportunities for nations and benefited workers in rich and poor countries alike. Brings positive benefits for consumers, helping to increase choice, drive down prices, improve services, and create new jobs and opportunities. Globalization can therefore be seen as a positive force for change that has the potential to raise living standards and drive economies forward. However, this is not readily acceptable for all. Many think globalization is the concerted strategy of the industrial world, particularly of the multinational corporations, to safeguard their interest and spur a new form of colonization. After opening a market, less